let's talk storyline ideas for 2024. I know we're doing this at the start of the month where not even any of the major storylines this year has finished, but someone on the Eastenders subreddit decided to put out an open discussion on storylines they want to see in 2024. I still find it funny how it's like, the year's not over yet, but let's talk about next year. It's like, and it's not even that. I'll completely appreciate this. It's cool. I like theory crafting. I like ideas. But also, I'm not ready to see a lot of people being like, God, the build to Christmas is so boring. Can it just be done now? It's like, you've got 20 days left, boys. How are you doing, Piggy?
I'm doing good, pal. I'm doing good. A storyline I want to see in 2024 is Keanu robs a bank, and the driver is none other than good old Malcolm. Too fast, too Malcolm.
It's just like Baby
too
Driver,
Malcolm,
where he's got some fucking earphones in, and he's like, out of my head, fucking swerving to music. It's great, love it.
No, it has to be Chumba, I get knocked down just in the traffic. I get knocked down. Out of my fucking way. I get back up again.
He's listening to
out of my fucking way.
Some
You're never gonna
80s
keep
bangers
me
to some 90s bangers. He just starts blasting out. It was first to 6th Street. Those were the best days of my life.
He's driving the car, right? And you hear the background is, "Oh, you're out of touch. I'm out of time. Out of touch. Out of time." Oh fuck.
Well, yeah, there we are. Video done. That's all you need. Storyline is 2024.
Fucking imagine Malcolm as a fucking driver for a robbery.
Mate, I'd bring him back. He is funny. Like, can we replace Karen with Malcolm, please? All right, actual storyline ideas for 2024. I mean, one thing, just so I don't fucking spend another year being hateful of Ben Mitchell. Can we give Ben a good year, please? Can we please give Ben a good year? Where he's not fucking miserable the whole time and suffering. Can he have a positive year, please? Storyline ideas. I want Mitch and the Bakers to be a lot more of a family on the square, with the Taylors moving. Or, well, we don't know that yet, but we assume that a bunch of the Taylors will be leaving. Can they just get more established as a family now? Can Mitch have a proper storyline? Can Bailey be back on our fucking screens? Because she's been, like, fucking banished to the Shadow Realm. God, what else would I want in this next year? Obviously, I know it is happening. This is not really an idea. This is just, I want that Suki and Eve to be happy, and I want the whole year of Priya and Suki to not see ways, like, to not see eye to eye, but eventually they become, like, a really tight family unit, because I think that would be really cool.
To add on to that, I would, to unite Priya and Suki, I would have basically, so you'd have Nish come back, and say, like, he thinks that he's in a car with Eve, and he gets someone to hit the car. But who's in the car are Vanny and Nugget.
Oh.
And it's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and that's how they become friends.
Yeah, I think the way I
know they can't do that because it's kids, but fuck it, give it to me.
I mean, Denzel was involved in a crash, but I think the way I do it is I think Priya has started to cotton on that Nish is a bit of a rotten egg. Don't know, I'm using fucking schoolyard terms. He's a bit of a stinky poo-poo face, is Nish. I think don't know why I went there immediately. I'm 23 years of age.
He's a bit of eggs and ham, if you know what I mean, lad.
He's a bit smelly, is old Nish. God, I'm completely
All right,
distracting
Keanu.
myself. Hey, they're in a fight this week. But
yeah.
Yeah, let me just wrap round because I fucking derailed. But I think the way that Priya realizes who Nish actually is, I think that would be the binding factor, because obviously Priya's obviously been fucked around by men her entire life and doesn't really have much trust in them. Like, Ravi was her fucking dealer. Like, there's a lot of seemingly dodgy relationships. She's there by herself, but I think her, like, noticing how bad Nish actually was would, like, bind them together. But yeah. Other ideas? I mean, I'm always down for Max Branning return. I'd bring that to the table, and I would honestly, if Jack is still around after Christmas, which I still, oh yeah, we need to record another one of them. If Jack is still around after Christmas, I do just want the Brannings to have a really, like, fractious relationship where Max and Jack are fucking at each other's throats, like, all year. Until, like, the 25th anniversary.
Where Derek Branning comes back.
Maybe it's over, like, the Stacey affair. I'm not sure. This is just completely off the top of my head, so this might be absolute bollocks. But imagine Jack gets Stacey pregnant or something. Like, fucking, and then Max is like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck, man? And, like, Max has still got a wife, but I don't know. Like, I want to see all of the families, all the main families, except the Taylors, get at least one or two more pieces to add a lot more depth to the family. Like, the Knights and the Beals, they're decent enough the way they are. But the Mitchells need, like, couple younger faces. The Brannings, they've got Penny and Lauren back, but they still could do one or two more. So,
see, this is the perfect opportunity for the Bakers to, like when you get a new Smash character and it says, now entering the battle. You get fucking one of them for Malcolm. Now entering the square. Malcolm with the Bakers.
He's actually a mob
and he has
boss.
his pose and everything. Like Lex Luger on the Nitro, where he just stands there. That's him outside the Queen fake when Karen gets pulled away in the police car. All right, but
fucking spooky everywhere. That's grand. Well,
but yeah, the storylines I'd actually like to see before we get into it. I want to see Debbie. I think that's Reese's wife. Either wake up or die. So, didn't know how to phrase that.
I want them to move forward with it, because we're seeing Reese be a bit weird, and we don't really know why just yet. So, like, is he bad? Is he good? I can't tell you.
So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Keanu get his comeuppance. He probably will. That's probably happen at the end of this year. I'd also like to see Suki and Eve actually happen.
Get together, yeah.
A Nish revenge arc where
would be good fun.
Basically, you could maybe use the Max Branning storyline where he buys half the square. And
I mean, he's buying up Cafe. He's getting more stuff. And I hardly believe they just get transferred over to Suki or something, like.
And then you can obviously have that scene that I always wanted to play in fake, where he's like, she's a dirty lesbian, a fucking dirty okay, Nish, okay, yeah, it's 2024, man, calm down.
Nish, it's lesbi-can now? Jesus Christ. Not lesbi won't. You fucking prick. Just Bernie. Just
fucking George Knight walks on the stage. What are you saying about lesbians there, Nish? Your wife's a lesbian. Yeah. You got a fucking problem with that, huh, man? Huh? He just fucking squares up to him.
And this bitch slaps him.
Down the stairs, backhand. Yeah. I'd also want to see more of the body being covered up. which obviously will happen
yeah.
in 2024.
Yeah, of course.
But because I definitely think that one of the women are going to slip up in 2024 and be like, Jack. No, hypothetically, if I murdered someone, hypothetically speaking, if I murdered someone in the Queen Pick and I hypothetically threw them in a suit of armour and hypothetically threw them in the river, hypothetically would I be arrested? Hypothetically speaking now. Hypothetically speaking. What do you mean hypothetically? I'm just hypothetically speaking now. 1 in a million chances this would happen, but I'm just hypothetically. And he's like, I don't know.
God, the weekend was kind to us. I'm full of beans. But as always, a Watching Walford video that starts for 10 minutes of us shit talking, and then we actually get into the topic. So bring on the next 40 minutes.
Bring on the wall.
All right. So what have people suggested? I suppose if we make like I don't know whether we want to start off, do like a bold take of something that will happen in 2024, but I don't know how, it's a bit on the spot, so we might not get a good one. But something not related to anything currently happening. What would you like to see? Just completely.
I'm going to go for a safe option, banker. I'm going for the safest option you can bank. Whitney leaves the square. My bold prediction. Whitney leaves the square.
Oh, fuck's sake. But yeah, I suppose next year I just want the Max Branning return, simply.
I love that you're like, okay, think on the spot, Piggy. Yeah, Whitney. Buried. Fucking buried.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. Alright. So the thread says, so with the year coming to a close and the big murder storyline getting closer and closer, I want to ask some ideas on storylines we could get next year. Because of the news of returning characters and some exits to also happen next year, what ideas have you got? This can include more returning characters, new characters, or just your own stories. I do think we are going to see a new family in the next year. Simply because without the Taylors being there, I don't know if it's less bloated or it'll just be like there'll be too much room. But I feel like there'll be a couple of new faces. Obviously, George Jr.'s seemingly coming back in the next year, like shortly after Christmas. We don't know if he's actually called George Jr. Obviously, we have Priya and Avani, but they're only two people in an already established family. I think we will need to see a new family in the square. I know it's not been long since we introduced the Knights, but the murder storyline at Christmas is gonna fully humanize the Knights, and they'll be a fully established family by the time this new family comes in. Because ultimately, I'm
gonna knock on a bold prediction about the family. It's gonna be Fat Boy, right?
Yeah.
With his daughter called Fat Girl. And then they're gonna have a son. Then she's gonna have a son called Fat Boy Junior. And then his wife's going to be called Fat Wife, and he'll have a family called Fat Boys and Fat Wives, and Fat Daughters and Fat Sons.
But they're all actually exceptionally in great shape. Just the nickname.
Yeah, they're all built like.
Fat Boys become the Giga Chad, and it's just flexing on everyone. That's ridiculous. Alright, let's get into some of the fucking options. Sexual exploitation storyline. Alright, I don't entirely know what that means, so I'm just going to leave it there. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think, is that the like... Yeah, oof, I'm leaving that one. It's too early in the morning to be dealing with that storyline.
It's currently 1:57. Yeah.
It's 6 in the morning. Don't you shut the fuck up.
6 in the morning. I'm going back
to new family to replace the Taylors. OCD storyline for Bobbert. Yeah, Bobby's OCD was kind of dropped, and now it's very under control, but we didn't get much of Bobby struggling with OCD, and he seemingly got diagnosed very quickly. Honestly, I'm happy if they leave that in the past, simply. I know people don't like retcons, but they haven't given it the necessary time it needed to be a good storyline, so if they just left it in the past, fine by me. Mitch to finally be happy. That's how shit Mitch's life has been on the square. He's had nothing but heartache. Oh, fucking hell. Relationship for Priya, not Ravi. Yeah, I can't imagine Ravi and Priya being back together again unless Ravi made some significant changes. Because you can see that she has no real love for him because it's just all been a fucking mess. There's some like unspoken like history, but you know, they probably will get together though. Happy Ever After for Suki and Eve, an honor killing story. Fucking hell, that's pretty rough. This person's full of beans, this one. All the excited sexual exploitation.
Full of beans.
Honor killing, fuck. Returns for Max. Lauren, Branning, who is returning. Oscar, Max and Tanya's son. Libby, Denise's daughter. George Trot with Shirley. I'll bring him back. Don't like Heather. Gotta bring back George, Heather's son. Harvey and Jean wedding? Why not? No. Please no. I'm not saying Harvey and Jean is a loveless marriage, if I've ever seen one. But it's worse than Jack and Denise. Fucking hell.
So, although I did get the iconic moment of one of my favorite Harvey moments of 2023, which was fucking Nish and Suki's renewal of the wedding vows, and fucking Harvey's wearing it.
Oh.
I think it's a do-rag.
I'm sure it's just wearing some clothing to be respectful. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's wearing like a big headband thingy.
Yeah.
That looks like a do-rag.
There we are. Suicide storyline involving a male character. Fucking hell. Do you guys want to calm down? And they say plays out like Aiden's and Corey, where we don't see the struggle, just the aftermath. Yeah, just for context, because it was a really good storyline. There's a guy called Aiden O'Connor. He was like a businessman, you know. He had some like dodgy like love triangle going on with two women, but you know, in the end, you just suddenly find him like dead in a bath. Well, you know, you could see some of the signs, like he'd moved into a new place, but he didn't unpack anything, and like it's only till he kills himself you actually go, fuck, because then all of the things start to make sense. It was a really good storyline that Coronation Street did with that one. I think it wouldn't be a fun storyline, but it would be a good story to tell with, because obviously it's been a thing, and we vaguely talked about it in the November month. Jesus, that was a mouthful. But we talked about male mental health, and there's some statistic where I don't remember the exact statistic, so I need to stop quoting it until I remember what it actually is. But like the largest killer of men, around the age of 40, is suicide. And I think it would be a good story for a slightly older person to be able to tell. Obviously, it'd be fucking rough. Harvey. I mean, yeah, he definitely could. He's had a pretty rough fucking life. But also, the main issue is Harvey's actually a good. He's a good background character. But yeah, I think that would be fun to see. Freddie and Anna relationship, no. You can't. That's that.
Give it.
Bobby and Freddie. Anna and Freddie.
Oh.
I mean Bobby. Fuck me, I'm saying it all wrong. Love square. They become a throuple.
We need. We need a throuple relationship on the square, because we've seen enough of heterosexual, homosexual, homoerotic relationships, but we haven't seen enough of throuples.
Mate, we're all tripping over our words here. Fucking hell.
No, I intentionally said homoerotic.
Okay. Nah, I'm all about
Just
Anna
to see
and
what the
Bobby.
fuck with you.
Kirat returned for Stacey. I can't see the guy coming back, especially after he left so suddenly. And finally, love triangle involving Tracy, Shrimpy, and the other bloke. And someone says the other bloke is Winston. I'm good. I'm good.
How long has Shrimpy been there? That's a real question.
I'm not looking it up. I've got better things to do in my time.
How many makes Shrimpy a permanent character?
I mean, he pretty much is at this point. He's been there for years. Been there at
but
least
no
a
longer
decade.
a background character.
Nah. Someone chimes in. If there's... We don't need to talk about Shrimpy anymore. If there's a suicide storyline, it'd probably be Vinny. He explains why he's suddenly so submissive to Suki's love life when he used to care so much. He's too overwhelmed to have the energy to care about it anymore. Yeah. I mean, Vinny's shit.
You say Vinny. I say Shrimpy.
I mean, there's definitely no subtext for that. It's just they wanted Vinny to be likable before he's probably killed off. Or just, a reason to stay after Nish goes or whatever happens there. Someone says, it would be nice to see a male character get a storyline that isn't disease, mental illness, an affair, being a serial killer, being an abuser, or being extremely aggressive. Jesus. Yeah, but...
Alfie Moon.
It's the whole of EastEnders. It's the whole point. There's supposed to be stories grounded in real life. So at some point, maybe there are just going to be more affairs. Someone says, I think a attempted honor killing involving Priya, Vinny, or Suki would be great. Obviously, yeah. I mean, I just remember fucking watching a documentary where a daughter was killed in like an honor killing thing, and it's like, fucking hell. Like, real story. It was pretty fucking harrowing. Probably would be interesting to shed light on, but I'm not really the one to make that call personally. I don't know enough. Someone says, as morbid as it may sound, this is for the suicide involving a male character. Someone says, as morbid as it may sound, I felt like the most obvious person would be Bobby, with the 10th anniversary of Lucy's death coming next year. Technically, when he first returned, he'd already tried to burn the Beale house down with himself inside it because of Lucy's ghost, only to be stopped by Max so it wouldn't come out of nowhere. There was also a time he nearly... There was a time he nearly cushed himself while stripping balls on the train tracks, but that wasn't intentional. That did happen. Callum found him. He'd taken some fucking psychedelics. Fucking wild stuff. Suki and Eve wedding, and I'd really love for Stacey and Martin to get back together. Can Martin get a new love interest, please? Please. Can he get someone completely fresh and new? Or as a long time Martin stan, I had most fun when Martin was with Ruby. It's just that they made the relationship with Ruby fucking rotten for some reason because she was leaving. But I'd really just love to see Martin and Ruby get back together. She returns with his child that she finally had, and they just settle down as a family. I fucking hate Stacey and Martin together. I'd rather fucking Sonia and Martin back. That's how done I am with Stacey and Martin. But then I'm sure with the new writing, it would be better like this, you know. Chris Crenshaw confirmed we're getting an entirely new story at New Year's with some returning characters and some new ones. So I'm thinking this is either Shirley's return or Lauren's. Fucking hell. Excuse me. I think Eve will return on New Year's Eve. Sound. And her and Suki will depart together, thus wrapping the Nish storyline. Then New Year's will have nothing to do with it. Suki ain't going nowhere, boys. Sorry. Maybe she'll leave for like a month or two, but she ain't going nowhere. Suki's staying for good, pretty much, until the actress decides to quit. But, like, Suki is probably the newest established, like, EastEnders mainstay we've had in a while. Like, since Linda, I would say. Someone says the 6th storyline's going on until 2025. It is going on for a while. It's gonna play out over the whole of the next year. Like the cover up, I feel like we'll have to either culminate in the 25th anniversary, 25th, 40th rather. But it'll keep building. It'll keep building. Someone says a serial killer to get rid of the annoying characters. Yes, take out Keanu, Bernie, Karen, Reese, Nugget, etc. You don't need to kill out old Nugget or Reese. I wouldn't even kill out the Taylors, personally, but we don't need another serial killer. The last serial killer was not that long ago. Although I'm not saying it would be funny if someone accidentally became a serial killer, or they just accidentally kept killing people. I think it would be garbage, but it would be very funny. Just like, no!
Reese.
Reese just starts accidentally, oh no, don't touch that, and he like flips the switch and it fucking like electrocutes him, and he's like, oh. Oh. There's been an accident.
He's more of a, you know what Reese reminds me of?
Alright.
He reminds me of a more, like, not pervy, a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more anxiety Wallace.
Okay.
Like if Wallace had anxiety about Wensleydale, like, he was like, there's no Wensleydale, Gromit, help. Wallace, don't worry, it's coming in today's delivery.
Yeah. Well. There you go. Another one in Piggy's things that only happen in his brain. Reese is like fucking Wallace with anxiety. Alright. Who killed Dean Wicks? It's happening. Someone says maybe a female abuser storyline would be nice to balance things out a bit instead of always being a man that's the abusive one. But also be interesting since we've seen so many female characters hit men and get away with it without facing any consequences. I mean, I'll always pitch my fence with this one simply because one of my favourite Coronation Street storylines is the Kirsty Soames domestic abuse storyline. Simply because they did it. They gave it a very long period of time, and you saw this genuine thing turn into absolute horror, and it was very well done, and it was given to a character who was, down on his luck already. I just think it was a really good storyline, but they also managed to make the Kirsty Soames character very sympathetic, even though she was just abusing her husband. But these storylines are very important to have done, so it sheds some light on it. Because a lot of these things do happen with a lot of us just not knowing. So I'd be willing to see this one. And someone goes through and says, someone started to like pick the details. Someone says, last time we saw a woman be abusive and have it be portrayed that way was Tosh and Tina. That was between two women and nearly a decade ago. Female to male, you'd have to go back over 20 years ago with Jackie Owen and Gianna DeMarco. And hardly anyone remembers that. I certainly don't. Stacey and Martin is a good example of this, but the show never treated it that way, though if it were the other way around, we know they would. Someone chimes in, fucking hell. Someone's been plotting this storyline out. They'll never go the full way of making Stacey a full-on abuser to Martin. The character and actress is considered too beloved to give her a shelf like that. I don't think she treats Martin particularly well at times, but I can't see her ever having it in her to regularly abuse him, verbally or physically. She has too much conscience. The ideal victim for a female or male domestic violence story is Jay, although I'd wait a year, maybe until his latest round of tragedy has moved along, so perhaps the story for late 24 to 25. Jay would sadly be a very easy target for a woman to abuse, as he's very vulnerable. He's got some businesses and some land, so a gold digger type woman might start sniffing around. He has no real family at all, and his foster family are incredibly unsupportive to him. A lot of the time, and sometimes downright abusive themselves, makes him a prime candidate for an abuser to latch onto him. And as they know, he'll be less likely to confide any abuse taking place, and that it would be easy to win over his loved ones that he feels trapped and isolated to leave the toxic relationship. Fuck, Jesus. Someone's really thought through this. Leading on from above, he's been conditioned by his upbringing with the Mitchells to accept abuse as part of having support. They frequently put their hands on him violently, say cruel things, scapegoated him, and thrown him out whenever they felt like it. He accepts and forgives his treatment in order to have any sense of family, no matter how flimsy it is. Fucking hell. Poor. He is desperate for a family and kids of his own. Literally desperate. Poor guy. A cruel woman could easily dangle the carrot of, we'll get married and start trying for a baby soon, over his head, and he'll do next to anything to please her in hopes of reaching that goal, leaving her in a position of power to abuse/move goalposts if he makes perceived mistakes. The unexplored concept of female on male rape could even be featured here. He's not fussed about age gaps. An older, more worldly wise woman could take advantage of his naivety. He's a simp. He has a soft spot for women in general and would never hurt one, yet would soak up quite a bit of poor treatment himself if he loves someone, i.e. being used or cheated. He forgives easy, and he tends to let his girlfriends take the lead in most of the decision making, aiming only to please in order to keep them. He's an addict. It would be very easy for an abuser, whether or not she has addiction issues herself, to get him hooked on the gear again and take advantage. Nice guy, but he isn't perfect, has a blunt mouth, prone to making mistakes along with addiction issues, and there could be plenty of his own problematic behaviour for an abuser to hold over his head. Yes, he's definitely the prime candidate. What would be even more interesting if he spins... It'd be a more interesting spin if he got into a relationship with Jack's daughter Penny, and she started violently abusing him. Jesus. No one would believe...
Is this comment, eh?
No, we're nearly done. No one would believe him. A petite, paralysed wheelchair user who is also the daughter of a copper, beating up a boyfriend. Yeah, right, but who knows? Eyes emoji. Suppose it's been a decade, but we could alternatively have Felix enter a relationship with a man and once again explore domestic violence within a gay relationship, as that would be interesting. It would give the underused Felix the much needed story, but that wouldn't shine light on female abusers, so I'd give a story to Jay, which writes itself in that. Failing that, Martin with a new lady is someone where no one would suspect he'd put up with it. Oh, there we go. Yes. Already said enough on that one. Interesting theory. Sorry, that's all I got. That was a long fucking post. I will say, I don't necessarily want... I'm sure it would be good to see the one with Felix, but ultimately it wasn't even a couple of years ago we saw some of that stuff with obviously we saw the man on woman with Gray and Chantel, and a couple of years before that we did kind of see bits of it with the Ben and the Wilmot Brown's son. But yeah, there we are. Someone says, well, I'd love to see racism and homophobia within the gay community getting a storyline, and Felix is perfect for that storyline. But the question is, does the show even remember Felix? No.
No.
Since he's practically non-existent when it comes to the LGBT scenes, besides Ben, Callum, Suki, and Eve being the only current LGBTQIA+ characters. Yeah, there's a lot of Felix love going on here, which I can appreciate because they fucking don't use them.
I don't know if tiramisu love is.
Yeah, tiramisu doesn't get much love either. I think they need to do something with Felix. He could be an excellent character if they fleshed him out a bit. He and Bernie could be a great pairing for a good LGBT story. Ben and Callum are part of the community, but two get bogged down with Ben's problems. Be great to see Felix do some more on the Prince Albert and maybe bring in some of his friends, the Vivian and Bag of Chips, to do a show. Lovely. I'm all here for more drag stuff.
Who's a Bag of Chips?
It's just a famous drag act. You know, most
Okay.
well, it's just most drag most drag acts have like fucking great stupid pun names. Like Mimi, I'm first. Great name. Rusty Pipes. I don't know, just all the shit. It's great.
Dave Chappelle.
Okay. Don't know what stories I'd give fuck me. I don't know what stories I'd give to who, but all I know is I want to see Felix, Chelsea, Martin, Bernie, Harvey, and Kat be given first dibs on storylines next year, no matter what they are, as they're severely underused. Honestly, it was surprising that Kat's really not been that big a character this year. Like, I think it must just be because she isn't one of the six, where she's really taken a back seat. Where she's not even really present in her own relationship. Because I do think they might as well explore county lines drug dealing with some of the kids. I'd pick Will Mitchell to be the surprise star of that story. Gives him big material, integrates him with more of the kids, and gives Billy and Honey gritty content too. Yeah.
What's the girl's name?
Who? Janet?
Janet. Give it to fucking Janet. I love it. Give it to Janet.
Gray befriends Theo in prison, and they both get out. They both get let out, and they both cause havoc on the square and die next Christmas. Sound.
Fucking. I don't know if you've seen the hard image of Ravi and Nish, where they're both doing the pose like that, and the camera's panned down. I want that image, but with Gray and Theo. I don't know why, but like Gray has his hoodie up, so he's like his hoodie's up, and Theo's like doing this.
Yeah.
Come get me, girls. Come get me. Fucking hell, look at me, boys. Out on bail.
And finally, someone says Chrissy Watts. Bring back Chrissy Watts. I'm down. It would be fun. But there we are. Those are a whole lot of storyline ideas for 2024. I notice how nobody's suggesting happy storyline ideas. Jay should become
abused,
domestically abused by a woman. And here's all of the reasons why Jay would be susceptible to this sort of treatment. Fucking hell.
And I want a suicide story. Storyline.
Yeah, it's not the most happiest, but hey, I mean, look, it's EastEnders. Sad shit happens all year. Lola died of cancer earlier in the year. Still hurts. But I look
just
want to
say cheers for the content, lads.
But I do think EastEnders, I always say this as like a barometer as to tell if EastEnders is good. But when you can tell EastEnders is good, it's when the comedy is hitting properly. Where they actually make it, like, decent jokes about stuff that's actually happening, and it's not just like Kim saying, "Do me a favor," you know, fucking doing that. And I look forward to the next year, but obviously we still have the fucking rest of the month to go through. So who knows when this goes out? Probably in the coming days. But if it gets released in 2 years' time, see you in 2079. Losers. No, but there we are. What are your storyline?
You'll be 79 in...
What are your storyline ideas?
Fuck.
Tell us in the comment section down below, what would you love to see in 2024? Obviously, we still got ways to go, but it will be fun to see if any of them come to fruition. I've been Ash from Watching Walford, and I've been joined by Piggy.
Our socials are as following. You can follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram and Twitter at Watching Walford. You want wrestling content? Well, we've got some for you. One more match, 182, and you want some of Ash's stuff. You want to get your dreams wet. You want to get moist. You want to get fucking orgasmic. You want to get creamed pied. Don't know what I'm using here. You can follow Ash on AquaDreams on Twitch and YouTube, and Real AquaDreams on Twitter/X. And again, I promise you the content you'll see on Ash's channel where he streams Simpsons Hit and Run, I promise you that it's gonna make you so wet that you'll come back for seconds. I promise you that. You'll be like a fucking tsunami by the time you watch his content.
The joke is my alias is AquaDreams.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like Wet Dreams, doesn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's some good storyline suggestions. Why are some people fucking just, well, I want a storyline, I want a suicide storyline, I want a rape storyline, I want an ice cream. Why? Can we not have nice things, please?
I want to get through the next year with no problems. I want nobody to die in my immediate family for the next year. Can that happen, please? I'm still working on that one. That one's not fucking happening, has it? You fucking bastards. Who's making these decisions? But at least the EastEnders writers have a fucking choice. Thank you for watching. Join us in the next one. Bye.